we had the conversation, Mike, this year about turnovers and is it recreatable, okay? And then Chicago caused more turnovers than any team in the sport this year, but they get to the playoffs, they cause 0 turnovers. Seattle all season, turnover machine. Sam Darnold led the league in turnovers. They go the entire postseason without a turnover. First Super Bowl team ever. First Super Bowl winning team ever to go an entire postseason without a single turnover. And obviously the game plan in that game, given you saw this early, right? Patriots weren't going to be able to do anything. Sam, just don't throw the game away. Like, if you could just not throw the game away, there's no circumstance under which Seattle will lose this football game.
Early on, it seemed like he was trying.
There was one pass early on, should have been a pick six.
Yeah. It's rare where you come away from a Super Bowl and you ask yourself, was that team any good? Yeah. That's how good the Seahawks were in this Super Bowl. I'm stunned that they were wire-to-wire dominant, and I'm really stunned at how bad Drake May looked. They were so far out of their depth. That was not a fair fight.
I think defensively what Seattle was able to do with just rushing 4 and getting home with 4 and dropping 7 in the back, I was just like, all right, you're going to force a guy with a bad shoulder to make really tight window throws, and it just wasn't happening.
Well, let me address a couple of things here, because we will talk about Mike Macdonald and make him a star, and we will talk about Sam Darnold and make him a star. But John Schneider has now won 2 championships with no holdover players and a different coach. I don't think people know the architect of this football team, and he's now done it twice with 2 totally different things. And when you mention the pressure with 4, this part was funny to me, Zaz. So before Bad Bunny and the halftime show, these poor people or rich people who are doing the halftime analysis have about 4 seconds to talk.
Oh, I
like,
noticed too.
it's just it reminds me of the ABC NBA halftime shows where it's like, get in and out. This is all about commercials. We're coming to all of you for 47 seconds total for all of you. And so somebody's analysis, I'm not making this up. So I guess it was McCourty. I wasn't really paying attention. But I just heard one person's analysis because they're just shooting around. Everybody, Garrett,
what do
all
you got?
guys, give it to me in 4 seconds. And the guy's analysis was just, Will Campbell is getting his butt kicked. And I felt so bad for Will Campbell's family.
It's hard for a nation at large to recognize bad O-line play.
He was getting his ass whipped.
He was getting his ass kicked from whistle to whistle. Yeah. That was so bad.
Well, did you guys see the stats, though? He allowed 14 quarterback pressures. No offensive lineman has allowed that many all season. Like, that didn't happen one time. But for the analysis to be, hey, you got 3 seconds here. I'm going to say McCourty because I was just half listening, but all of his analysis was just simply and accurately, Will Campbell is getting his butt kicked.
There was a hilarious moment in that game. It was just after, the pinpoint accuracy parabola ball to Mac Hollins, right? And it looks like, okay, maybe New England figured this thing out. We have a backdoor opportunity. Give me some juice here. They're starting to move the ball, and Chris Collinsworth is like, yeah, all right. They're starting to find their rhythm. And then Drake May throws the worst interception possible, and it leaves Chris Collinsworth speechless to the point that he literally says,
"Yep,
I've got nothing for you here."
Yep.
It was a bad throw. Getting back to the line play, though, that we don't talk about enough when these things happen, right? I don't think people understand how bad you have to be for everyone to notice that you're that bad. For example, Kenneth Walker had those good runs. Go ahead and tell me who had the good blocks on him. It's every offensive lineman's worst nightmare to have the game that Will Campbell had, where we're all noticing, oh my God, they're going to just cave in that side of the line all game. He's got no chance. He shouldn't be out there.
Yeah. I think Kenneth Walker had the type of performance where you actually, he stood out. because of his patience. Whether it be, I know that there was one famous one highlighted where he did like the Le'Veon Bell, and then he shoots a very tiny gap. But all those screens, that was all patience. Like, he was waiting for his blocks to set up. Sometimes there wasn't much of a lane. That's why I think he was a worthy MVP. I thought he was dynamite.
Can you guys look up for me? I think Justin Tuck one time against the Eagles had 6 or 7 sacks in a game. And it's the last time I felt that way for an offensive lineman. I don't even remember who the offensive lineman was, but he was just totally ill-equipped. And I think Tuck had 6 or 7 sacks in a single game because they were never able to adjust to it, never able to fix it. To go an entire game or entire season that no offensive lineman has allowed that many quarterback pressures. And the worst part of it was that Drake May was unrecognizable because he got scared. Like, that's what happened, and he should have been scared. Like, he had no time. There were no answers. They couldn't leave enough people in. You can't go find Hunter Henry every time the way you did all season because Will Campbell was a turnstile. Like, you cannot have 4 guys getting that much pressure when you've got 5 and 6 guys blocking them. That allows you only to send 4 receivers out into 7 people covering them.
He was spooked from the jump, right? Like, Will Campbell, there was one play, and I think it was after halftime, where he gets a false start call on him. So he's got the start. Okay, he beats the defender out of his stance, and then he gets pushed so far that it knocks over Drake May on a false start, and it's like, dude, how do you cover 10 feet of ground just getting pushed like that? They were talking about it on the broadcast that his issue is he gets pushed so badly that he knocks into the quarterback, and that's what happened in one of the sacks. I'm trying to think of who it was.
Yeah, it was right up the middle.
Right up the middle, big white guy, 92, literally just has Will Campbell in one hand, grabs Drake May with the other hand, and takes them both down. I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah, that a lot of people are commenting today that McDaniels needs to get Will Campbell some help in that situation. Like, you have to do something so that it doesn't, so that you have the number 1 defense in the league feeding like the sharks feel blood in the water, feeding because they know they've got your quarterback scared.
Why else is Austin Hooper on the roster?
Throw a chip block, buddy.
It is rare for you to see somebody who was 1 vote away from winning the MVP look scared, and for you to understand, oh, of course he's scared. How could he not be scared? Nothing is working, and they look incompetent in the first half, and he knows good and well, just like Seattle does, just like everyone watching on television, just like Lady Gaga and Bad Bunny know, oh, Will Campbell can't block anybody here. They've got an offensive lineman there who might as well not be out there.
And the other thing, too, is you want to hit the quarterback early, right? And that's what we saw with Miami and Indiana, where they were roughing up Mendoza early to try to get him happy feet in the pocket early to have off-balance throws. And you saw that from Drake May. There was a pass that he threw to Hunter Henry that almost killed him, where he was way back on it. Pop Douglas had a back shoulder throw that he was late on. So he wasn't setting his feet. He had happy feet in the pocket trying to make something happen, knowing that with 4 guys, he's getting pressure. And it's like, what do I do here?
I haven't had this feeling watching a Super Bowl in a long time, which is like, what the hell are they doing here? The last time I felt that way was like in the mid-90s with the Chargers against the Niners. I'm like, how did you make it here? Somebody stepped out of bounds. I wasn't like, what are you doing here?
Hold on, Mike. I'll give you the Patriots and Rams Super Bowl that was 13-3, where the Rams and Jared Goff had absolutely nothing. And I want to say off the top of my head, that was the same year that the Rams got the PI.
Yeah.
That was egregious.
Well,
they changed the rules.
I at least knew what they were doing there. It was a bad call.
No, and Todd Gurley got hurt, and they really needed him for everything that Goff was doing. And Gurley's
career
terrible
that Super Bowl.
Ended that career. Yeah, but Gurley's career ended with whatever the injuries were that prevented him from playing in that game. He was the actual MVP for that team. To Mike's point, though, how did the Patriots get here? Okay. 14-3, 3 losses by 1 score. 1 to the Steelers, 1 to the Bills, 1 to the Raiders.
How'd they lose to the Raiders?
Well, because they didn't play anybody.
I watched that game yesterday. I can understand them dropping a dumb one to the Raiders.
They didn't play anybody, and they lost their healthy offensive lineman a month ago, and I thought the wheels were going to fall off then. They just fell off when they had to face the 3 best defenses back-to-back, and they won 2 of the games. They won 2 of the games because C.J. Stroud was terrible and because Jarrett Stidham's not a starting quarterback. Stickham. He's not a starting quarterback, and that's the reason they lost those games. I would have preferred, obviously, to see Denver in that game, or they could have just run it back Rams and Seahawks.